Hope you had a nice weekend. Hope you had an amazing one. Mine was fabulous. Mine was so wonderful. And we are talking about social skills today. Kindly call your friends, your loved ones, your village people. I love you to call your village people, your friends, your colleagues, your siblings, your parents. Go and invite them that we are live for today's session. And today we're talking about social skills and still on that series of social skills, reduce meltdown, build confidence, and improve relationships. This is the third on the series. We discussed the part one last week Thursday and the part two last week Friday. Today is the part three. It's going to be in 5 series. Social skills that reduce meltdowns, build confidence, and improve relationships. Hope I can be heard. Hope I can be seen. If you can see me, can I see that in the comment section? Can I see that in the comment section that you can see and you can hear me? Please confirm. It has been very well with the network today. Oh, alrighty, I can be seen. Okay, social skills that reduce meltdowns, build confidence, and improve relationships. We know how social skills are very important. These are skills that helps children to interact, that helps children to build relationships. These are skills because we know that children on the spectrum are mainly affected when it comes to social skills. They are affected in communication. They are affected in social skills. They are affected in these areas majorly, and we've been talking about social skills this month because it affects these children. They have issues just socializing. That's why we hear somebody was telling me yesterday, my child just wants to be alone, just want to be by himself. They don't want to associate, they don't want to talk with people, they don't like to play with others, they just want to be on their own. So that's why we're talking about social skills and how parents can help children build social skills. And that is why we're here today. We'll be talking about social skills, how it reduce meltdown, because sometimes so much meltdowns that you are seeing could be as a result of inability to socialize, inability to express themselves, inability to tell you what they are going through. You see the child having meltdowns. I was once there, my child used to have meltdowns. He's not able to express himself or what he wants to say. You start seeing aggression. That's why you see some people that stutters. You see they are not able to express themselves. They have something coming. They are not able to bring out the words. You now start seeing tantrums. You start seeing that anger, that aggression, because they are not able to put it to words what they want to say. So these skills can actually be built. That's what we'll be teaching this month, that it can actually be built. For the fact that children are having social skills doesn't mean that they should remain like that. It can be built. The way you teach mathematics, the way you teach English, the way you teach a child to write, the way you teach a child to spell, the same way you teach social skills, the same way you teach a child to develop social skills, because it might not follow them naturally, but as our parents of children with special needs, it's our duty to train these children. It's our duty to teach them, to help them socialize, to help them develop the skills. Because if you teach them, they can actually learn. If you teach them, they can actually develop that part. So last time we talked about taking turns. We talked about waiting, because some of them don't know how to wait. Some of them don't like waiting. They just want something and they want it now. If they want a particular food, they want a particular toy. If you're not giving them that particular toy at that time, they just throw tantrums. Before you know it, they start having meltdowns because they want things at their own space, their own time, their own, they just want it when they want it. They don't really know how to wait. That is why we need to teach them how to wait. We need to teach them how to take turns. Something, maybe in a family of get this, maybe it's possibly that time to eat or something. Before you know it, this child just jumps in and he wants it. Meanwhile, other children were there first. They don't know how to wait for their turn. Even in school, that maybe they are sharing things or it's assembly time, they don't know how to take turns when it's time to get things. So they need to be taught. Like I said, the way you teach maths, the way you teach English, the way you teach handwriting, the way you teach a child how to do those things, same way you teach a child with social skills, they can still get it. They can still learn it. So we are talking about today, listening. That is number 6. Last time we dealt on taking turns. We dealt on waiting. Today, listening. How many of you know that listening can be difficult for children with developmental issues? Listening can be difficult for children with developmental issues. It doesn't just come to them. They need to be taught how to listen. Listening is much more than hearing words. Listening is much more than hearing words. Listening means stopping. Listening means looking. Listening means thinking, because they need to think as you are talking. They need to assimilate, and these are not skills that just fall on the children like that. They need to think. Listening means understanding. Listening means understanding. Listening means responding appropriately. Listening means responding appropriately. Many parents repeat instructions 10 times. How many of you have experienced that? Or how many of you have witnessed that they understand what I'm talking about? They repeat instructions 10 times, not because the child is stubborn, but because listening has never been intentionally taught. Not because the child is stubborn, but because listening has not been intentionally taught. Practice listening games today. Give short instructions, dear parents. Don't say, go, you pick this bag, you now go let that shoe. Make sure you take them to my room. On your way to my room, you get to the staircase. You see an umbrella there. Take it. Too much instructions confuses the child. Too much instructions confuses the child. The child does not even, as they are going, you see, that's why sometimes they might just get the bag, drop it halfway, or it's the staircase they're able to get to. They just drop it there and they go away. They're not able to comprehend and add them together to be able to factor, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. And I pick this one, I take this there, and I'm done. So they get confused at that point. That's why you need to give short instructions. Go get me this cup. As the child brings the cup, you cannot say, take it here, or drop it on the table. Don't give just one way instructions. Give short instructions at a go. Don't give multiple instructions that can confuse the child. Remember, you are just teaching the child. The child is learning to practice social skills. The child is learning to practice how to listen. So when you are teaching the child how to listen, you don't need to teach and give multiple instructions for the child. So give short instructions. Then praise immediate responses. When you give, you say, oh, that's good, you did well, yes, awesome. You praise immediate responses. Then, dear parents, avoid shouting across rooms. Avoid this particular region where shouting is really the order of the day. Avoid shouting. Stop yelling across rooms. Please learn that today, dear parents. And also, listening is a learned social skills. Is a learned social skills. You teach. There are some adults that don't even know how to listen. As you are talking, they are even interrupting you. As you are talking, they don't know how to listen. Pay attention and comprehend that you are saying. They are just saying their own. Listening is a learned social skills. Listening is a learned social skill. So you need to learn that. We have a lot to cover. So because of that, we're also going to be rushing across some points we still have today, before we go to tomorrow. So listening is a learned social skills. You need to teach the child how to listen. It doesn't just happen. They don't just know how to pay attention and listen, except you teach them. Then number 7 is asking for help. We talked about this last time. I would say we're going to elaborate on this. Asking for help. Some children scream because they cannot ask. When communication is also very difficult, you see meltdowns, you see aggression, you see that lack of confidence. They start screaming because they cannot ask. I want this. Teach them to ask. Some even hit because they cannot explain something. I was saying this about some people that have these developmental issues, because they are not able to express, they start hitting. Some hitting you are seeing. That's why before you claim, oh, behavioral, before I was asking somebody, I said, okay, how do you handle behavioral issues as a behavioral therapist? He couldn't really answer. I said, okay, it's not by what you have read. When the thing happens in real life, when it happens physically, how do you handle that? They say you walk the child or some. So I was trying to explain to this person that sometimes behavior comes as a result of something. Behavior might come. Find out what is triggering that behavior. It's not that the child just wants to be stubborn. It's not that before a child will hit something, what's happened? What's the scene? That's what you need to observe. You need to be very vigilant as a parent and as a caregiver or as a therapist of anyone working with a child developmental issue. What were the things that happened before the child started throwing that tantrums? What were the things that happened before that child started hitting others? What were the things that happened before the child started shouting and screaming everywhere? You need to understand this. It's very crucial, dear parents. So some hits because they cannot explain, some withdraw because they cannot express their confusion. They just withdraw. When they cannot put everything they want to say into words, you see them, they withdraw. You see them, they withdraw. They just keep to themselves. So it's very important. We need to put this into considerations and learn to teach children social skills. It's very vital because every child, should confidently say what they want. They should confidently just say, I need help, please. They should confidently say, I do not understand this. They should confidently say, I am finding this difficult. Every child should say that, but it is not happening that way. That is why we need to teach social skills. Children who ask for help, they solve problems before behavior becomes the language. Again, children who ask for help solve problems before behavior becomes the language. It is good to teach them to ask for help. When they ask for help, it reduces that anxiety. When they ask for help, it reduces that meltdown. When they ask for help, it reduces that aggressiveness that comes when they feel frustrated, because when they want to do something and they're not able to do it, they feel frustrated. But when they ask for help, you find out that these things reduce drastically. So we need to teach children these skills, which is very important. So number 8 is accepting no. Accepting no. This is another fight. Accepting no. One of the hardest social skills is hearing no without falling apart. One of the hardest social skills is hearing no without falling apart. Children don't like to hear no, especially children on the spectrum. They don't like to hear no. That's one of the hardest things, to hear no without falling apart, because life contains disappointment. They need to come to terms with this, that life contains disappointment. Things don't naturally happen as you want it all the time. No, it won't happen that way. Life contains disappointment. Not every request must be granted. Not all requests must be granted. If not, the child will grow up feeling entitled. I know you don't want to raise an entitled child who feels I must get things the way I want it and whenever I want it and however I want it. Special needs or not, these children were first human before they became special needs. These children were first human before that diagnosis. So they are human. Special need does not take them from being that child of yours. Special need does not stop them from living like every other human being. So we don't need to overindulge, because so many times you see some things that others would naturally do and they go away with it. But because it's special need, we like to over-attach things to it. There are some things that these children do, you know that they actually know what they are doing. You know that they actually know what they are doing. So we need to understand this, that life contains disappointment. Things will not just be rosy. It's not a rosy ride. Life is not a rosy ride. It's not that it will just happen the way you want it all the time. And never ever, and not every request will be granted. So you need to know that it is not all requests that will be granted. So teach children that disappointment is uncomfortable, but is temporal. So life is not going to give them disappointment all the time. So disappointment is uncomfortable, but it is temporal. You teach the children this. Teach children that instead of changing your answer because of crying, stay calm. Because some children, I've seen parents, they go to maybe shopping mall with their children or supermarkets or whatever to shop, and they know they didn't plan to buy a certain toy. Ah, my child did that one day. They know they didn't plan to buy a certain toy because the child is not crying, rolling on the floor, throwing tantrums, they end up buying. What have you taught that child? That means if I cry enough, I will get whatever I want. Is that not it? What have you? The child has learned nothing, and you have only just taught that child that anything I want is just for me to press harder. So if the child says, I want that toy, and you do not answer, he asks again the second time, can I get this? And you say no, or I can't give you. They start to cry. When they cry, they know that you will not like that embarrassment. You will not like that. They continue until they start falling on the floor. Instantly, you give them. So next time, even when they want something that will harm them, that you originally know that this is not good for them, because children do not know. That's what the Bible says, that foolishness about in every child. Foolishness about in the heart of a child. Did you see that? Foolishness about in the heart of a child. So they know that this thing, if I ask for it and I press, I cry, it will happen. But will you say because your child is crying, you hand him a gun? You will not hand over the gun to the child because the child is crying. You know that child, that gun, the child might end up killing himself. You will say because a child is crying, you carry a matchbox and give to the child, say, take, oh, stop crying, now is enough. That is not it. Because that's crying, that thing you just did now has not solved the issue. It won't make the child to learn anything. Next time, the child will ask for something that is not necessary because he knows that if I cry very well, you give. So instead of changing that answer because the child cry, stay calm. Acknowledge the child's feelings. Let them know that, okay, you are feeling disappointed because you don't have this thing. But it's fine. You must not have everything you want all the time. Maintain boundary. Children eventually learn that emotions do not change every decision. This creates emotional maturity. The children will learn from this more than you just giving everything they want. Try this, your parents. I know it's painful. I know it's hard seeing your child just cry and you're staying cool. So, but learn that they mustn't get everything they want at all times. Number 9 is flexibility. Flexibility. Children often believe there is only one acceptable outcome. Children on the spectrum, if they hear this is where we are going, they don't want to even understand, try to fathom me that you are branching anywhere. If this is where they are headed, that is where they want. So they must learn flexibility. They must learn flexibility. One spoon, one route, one, hey God, one teacher. They don't want to see another person. If they are using this plate to eat, that is all. My son was doing that. I had to change it. If this plate is broken, what would I do? There are times that you find out that if you move from this plate and this place is broken, maybe that you don't need to buy a set of plates again. I had to learn a big lesson from that. When I now bought another set of plates, he picked one again that was his favorite. It's not to that. There was a day, even the dad wanted to use that plate to eat. He collected the plate that this is his plate. I realized that this is not so good. So I started teaching. So one day I intentionally put his food on another plate that is not the one he wants to eat. So let them learn. Some of them, they want to pass one way to their room. They want one spoon, one type of spoon. They want one chair. They like to sit. They don't move out from that chair. One color, one routine. Because successfully relationships require flexibility. If this person is going to build relationship with people, it needs to be flexible. It's not one way thing. They need to be flexible. Teach children to tolerate small changes. Teach them, practice it with them, be by them and see them through it. Teach them, practice it with them, let them go through it. Go through it, let them see it, see them through it. It is very crucial. Before expecting them to make large ones, let them face that small changes. Let them face that small changes, because flexibility will reduce anxiety. I hope you know that. Flexibility will reduce anxiety because children discover change is survival. Flexibility will reduce anxiety. That frustration, that aggression, that anxiety they're having, flexibility will reduce it, because they will know for sure that change is survival. So you need to understand this. And number 10 is conversation. Conversation. Conversation is more than talking. Conversation is more than talking. Conversation requires listening. It requires waiting. It requires thinking. It requires responding. And it requires showing interest. Conversation requires showing interest. It requires staying on topic. Conversation. You need to teach the children conversation. Let them learn to stay on topic. Let them learn to end discussion politely. Let them practice conversation daily. Daily. No interviews, real conversation. Let them learn to practice conversation daily. Teach them that communication connects people. Teach them that communication connects people. This is very crucial. Let them know that communication connects people. Teach them to have good conversation with someone else. Let them practice it daily. Not too much of judgment, not too much of interrogation, questioning. Let them practice conversation. So how many points have we talked about today? We've talked about listening. We've talked about conversation. Who knows the third one? Let me know whether you are following. What's the third one? If you are not following, I will catch you. Who can tell me how many points we have mentioned today? We have talked about listening. I've just told you two. There is the third one and there is the fourth one. Who can tell me that? I've mentioned listening. I've mentioned conversation. There's one I just talked about before getting to conversation. What is that? Where are my good students? Can you put that in the comment section? Put that in the comment section. What was the third one before the conversation? I can see some persons that are not following. So what do we do to you now? Or should we score whether you have active listening before we even start talking about your child? Did you pay attention, or you were just listening and just enjoying, or admire my glasses and admire my space states? Which of them? So can we see that? I said flexibility. Flexibility. Who can tell me another one? What was the fourth one? I mentioned conversation. I mentioned flexibility. I mentioned listening. There's another one that I'm expecting for people to say. Who can say that? Put that in the comment section. Let's see that. If you can't tell me what you've listened, that means we'll just end the class. It shows that you're not paying attention. It shows that you're not following. And if you're not following, how do you command your child to follow? You cannot give what you don't have. Do you have it? Do you know how to listen? Do you know how to pay attention? Or you're absent-minded? Yourself, parents, judge yourself. I said accepting no. Accepting no. Some of them don't like to accept no. There's accepting no. You see their parents. So any of you that comes and say, I can see how many of you that are on the stream. Anyone that says, my child is not accepting no. The child, I will ask you, when we were teaching, were you able to follow? Did you listen? Anyone that says, my child is not listening, my child is not having good conversation, I will put it to you that you too, you are not following through. Okay, that's all for today. We are coming tomorrow to do the part 4 because it's a very broad topic, and I wanted to explain it, because one thing is for us to just come and list them. You might not really get it, you might not really understand it. So I decided to really break it down for you to be able to get these things and know how to practice it with your children. When it comes to flexibility, when it comes to conversation, when it comes to accepting no, when it comes to listening, you know how to address this. You know how to work on it, because it is very crucial. And I hope you have registered for a 3-day foundational course coming. If you have not registered, you're the one that is left. We should close the gates. When the gate is closed, you cannot break it open. When it's closed, see, I don't want to tell you what is in this 3 days program is power packed, loaded. You're going to go away with guys that already cost more than times 2 of what you're paying. They are going to have access to me, because if you are booking a counseling session with me that for 1 hour, you know how much you're going to pay. So times that, because after the 3-day session, you're going to have access to me for 1 whole week. We're going to practicalize this thing. We're going to explain these things to you, and we're going to put you through a process for you to work with your child and see this result. There's a 1 week follow-up, which if that's even the only thing you're going to get. So there's a 1 week follow-up where you will see this thing practicalized for you. There is 3 days course, day 1, day 2, day 3. This is not what you can get anywhere. I tell you, that's why I slashed the price down so that it will be easy for everyone to dive in, because I actually want you to see the result that I'm seeing. I can come here today, I'm looking glory and everything. It's because I am seeing front. Before, I can't come out here where I'm still battling with a child that is very aggressive and pulling down doors at home. Is it when the child is not portrayed every minute I'm changing pants? Or is it the child that was not eating what I was giving? At age 6, the child was not potty trained. So what are you talking about? I can do this now because the child is not regulated. It's not calm. It's one of the calmest in the house. Imagine, this child, everywhere you go, you must notice him before. So I'm trying to tell you, this is what works. They said in Nigeria Palace, follow no road. You better follow no road. This is not theory. I'm not, if it's the training, I have it. If it's the certification, on point. But lived experience is another thing that can, because the man with the experience is never at the mercy of the man with the arguments. You need to see who have gone through this, who have experienced it, to be able to pull you through. Not just theory, not what we read in books. Textbooks are there, books are there, you read it, but do you really understand it? When real life comes, do you know what to do? When real life come and test you, how do you go about it? So that's why if you are listening, I like listening to, that's why they say, before the glory, check the story. I like people's story a lot. I like people that have gone through the process. It is better than when you, because it's not a matter of do what I say and not what I do. You must do what I do, not just what I say. So one that I've done the work, that is why the book of Acts chapter 1 verse 1 says, these things that Jesus did both to do and to teach. He didn't teach it. He bought to do. There is the doing part before the teaching part. You cannot say you want to teach what you have not done. You don't want to teach what you have not experienced. When people come to you with these questions, you are dumbfounded because you don't even know what to say. You are wondering, hey, is it true? Oh, somebody can stay 5 years, he has not gotten for the trade. Oh, 7 years, this person is not for the trade. How? Why? You don't know what is leaky gut. Even when you read it in books, you read it, but you don't know how it is in real terms. So this is something I have done then to teach. It's not teaching that comes before doing. It is the doing. Go to Acts 1:1. It is the doing before the teaching. Both to do and to teach. That is why if you must listen to anybody, even if you don't want to register for this course, the child is yours, it's not mine. Thank God I'm finding help for my child. We are still on the journey. If you want to listen to anybody, so that in case you want to take any course, you want to belong to any community, anything you want to do, try to get to those people that have done it, that have gone through it, that have the proven results. They will be able to tell you this is it. Those ones will be able to pull you through. They will be able in practical terms, because principles of life are the same everywhere. No two children are the same, so the methodology might be different. But you say principles are the same. The principles to be thankful for. You will be grateful to God that you met this woman. I am telling you that for free. I know it like our YouTube channel. Please do so. Send the link to others to join to see what's going on, and also turn on your notifications so you get notified when you come live, when we post relevant information. You get notified. Thank you. Please share this link with others that were unable to join. Share it with your community, share with your friends or neighbors, those that have children that are struggling, that are worn out. Some are looking older than their age. They are just feeling like, that life is gone. You don't really know that. If I tell someone I'm up to 40 years, they don't believe. You don't need to just now look as if it's the end of the world because there is a child with special need. No, there is a way out. You can still do something, dear parents. So stay tuned and bye for now.